Greetings everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm your host Captain Rye and today I've got another Fletcher match for you. This Fletcher match is kind of interesting in the respect that I managed to get an award that one really only gets when playing a destroyer or a carrier, but one that I never seem to be able to get. Mostly because of how I play my ships. What's the award? Well, it's the Liquidator medal. The Liquidator medal requires that you kill an enemy ship and cause at least 40% of the damage with flooding. The reason I don't ever get those is because when I fire off my torpedoes, I either kill you outright or I miss you altogether. So in order to get 40% flooding, it usually means I have to hit one torpedo, and whoever has been hit doesn't repair it. And let's be honest, how often does that happen? Well, as the match gets started, I'm off up to the A cap point here on Fire Islands. I don't really like this map very much. It's an okay map. I mean, there's nothing particularly wrong with it. I just don't like its overall tone. Not a fan of the orange hues. By comparison, I kind of like Okinawa and Ice Islands a lot better. I think the maps look nicer. So now I'm up in the A cap point, and most of the enemy has been spotted. They are heading towards B and C. So A is pretty much going to be left to me uncontested. There are not many destroyers in this battle. There's only 5 total, which is unheard of, right? How dare you get a battle with so few destroyers? And speaking of destroyers, I'm pretty sure there's one right up there in a smoke screen. Now, he is technically just outside of my torpedo range. Maybe. He's right on the cusp there, but there's an enemy ship that is sitting in there that is, I think, just inside my torpedo range. So I fire off one set of torpedoes, and as you can see, that enemy ship is trying to get into the smokescreen as well, so I fire off my second set of torpedoes. With any luck, I'll manage to hit him with either the first set or the second set, which would be fantastic. And you know, I do love torpedoing things in smoke. We've already managed to lose our destroyer, one of our 3 destroyers, so we no longer have a destroyer advantage. This matchup, you might notice, is also not quite full teams lists. Normally you have 12 on a team, and I think there's just slightly less than that. However, it's not really too big of a factor. I'm pretty sure I played this battle in the morning, which might explain why some of these teams, well, why both teams seem to be a little lackadaisical about their battling. There is an enemy Bismarck who's popped up in smoke, and it looks like he's starting to move, so I'm going to fire off my torpedoes ahead of the lead indicator, and hopefully he won't speed up too quickly. But the Bismarck does speed up pretty fast. He did pop up there for a split second, and I wasn't detected, though I was in detectability range. I'm not going to take the chance, so I'm going to use this island for cover as I back up. There is an enemy battleship back behind that island who did pop up briefly, and I'm going to fire off torpedoes at him. I managed to hit one torpedo on that Bismarck, and remember, that Bismarck was 100% full strength. I managed to hit another torpedo on something else. But notice that Bismarck, who was 100% full strength, is now flooding. And there was the other torpedo hit. was on the enemy Fletcher. So I'm going to open up him, as he is a definite threat to my existence and a priority. He doesn't seem to be able to return fire effectively. His aiming is off, so my aim is true, and I am just going to rip into him. There is my first kill of the game. Of course, I managed to set him on fire in the end. And because I'm detected and that Bismarck is well within secondary range of me, I'm going to pop smoke and hide inside. That Bismarck still flooding. He is still flooding, and I don't know why he hasn't repaired it. I've managed to set him on fire now, so now I've got him on fire and he's flooding, and I think I'm going to manage to set him on fire again, but he's just losing health like nobody's business. It really doesn't make any sense to me. I'm pretty sure he has his damage repair ability, as he was just sitting in that smoke and should have been fine. And there's my second kill and the Liquidator medal. Again, this is a medal I never get. And it's a medal I never get because I never end up hitting people like that Bismarck with just one torpedo and cause flooding. Arsonist, I can get, because that's just a high volume of high explosive fire. Liquidator? Wow. Managed to hit that battleship for a sizable amount of damage, but don't kill him outright. Of course, I still have more torpedoes headed his direction. So the first set did hit him. Let's see, can I hit him again? I do, but I don't hit him with enough to kill him. He did turn. I contemplated going around that island there to try and get back behind the enemy team, but I decided instead I was going to turn back around and I was going to pursue this Iowa. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get back inside my smoke, and I'm going to continue to shell him. With any luck, I can light him on fire, and I can start causing even more damage. But of course, I've already done about 125,000 damage in this matchup. And the enemy team, they're melting away pretty quickly. So at this point, I'm just basically trying to farm damage, and I'm not really looking to get any more kills out of anything. However, with any luck, I can get high caliber, because having the high caliber flags does help every now and again. It gives you that extra 5% on your consumables. If you're using premium consumables, that does help. Contemplating trying to get torpedoes off at him, I do fire off one set, thinking he's got to turn to avoid that island. The Iowa here, he is at extreme end of my range, so it's quite possible that my torpedoes will die before they reach him. Enemy Baltimore coming around the corner here, and I am detected, but both the Iowa and the Baltimore seem to be thoroughly distracted by everything else. Though I am taking shots in from a destroyer that's back there. There's my high caliber award, and that Baltimore is turning into our turpets, obviously trying to avoid torpedoes from the friendly Fletcher back there, who nearly manages to get our turpets. But between the turpets fire and my fire, that Baltimore, he's pretty much done. And there is the Baltimore dead. I do know that there is an enemy destroyer up in that smoke somewhere. There's also an enemy Kutuzov left, and he has smoke. And we're going to see a little bit more of him. As far as battleships go, though, there's an enemy Scharnhorst that's remaining, and this guy is going to survive quite a long time, considering he's a tier 7 in a tier 9 matchup. The enemy team has held on to 2 cap points, so while they're way down on ships, they're not too far down on points. So I decide I'm going to change that. There is an enemy destroyer. That Fletcher, I'm not entirely sure his decision to shoot at something that wasn't me. And because of this decision, I'm going to punish him for it. Just going to continuously opening up on him And I don't even have to maneuver because he doesn't have his torpedoes available. He's not particularly shooting at me, although now he's decided to switch and focus fire on me. And it's not going to go well for him. If you pop out of smoke and you're instantly detected in a destroyer, remember to pull that gun camera back and make sure there's not another destroyer, especially not something like a Fletcher within 5 kilometers of you, because you're going to have a bad time. There's that Kutuzov. I try to get into the enemy destroyer's smoke, but it dissipates just as I get there. However, it was just enough to break line of sight. Of course, foolish me, I open fire back on this Kutuzov, who has decided that I am a bigger threat than the Tirpitz, who is burning down quite nicely, so he's going to start shooting at me anyway. So that was kind of a bad decision on my part. There is a cyclone going on, so there's an 8-kilometer detectability range. And since my smoke's not up, I'm going to hit the speed boost, and I'm going to try and get out of that visibility range. Unfortunately for me, there is the enemy battleship who's popped up, who is still within that 8 kilometers, and he's spotting me, and he's shooting me, and it's costing me a lot of my HP. So rather than return fire, I've still got the speed boost, I'm sailing away as quickly as possible, and I'm trying to break that line of sight. And I do manage to do it. Now I can go back to capping B. The Kutuzov and our friendly Hipper here are exchanging fire, and my smoke screen is available. And I'm telling the Hipper that I have smoke available, and that I will smoke him if he wants it. But based on the fact that he's taking in fire from 2 different directions, plus there's still a battleship back over there, I decide I'm going to smoke him anyway. So I'm going to try and get that smoke screen laid down for him. But this Hipper, he doesn't seem particularly interested in smoke at all. He's just going to continue to sail right out of it with no pause or concern for staying inside. And, you know, maybe putting out the fire and shelling without being shelled back. Manage to cap B, and now I'm kind of looking at what possibilities I can shoot at. Yes, there's a battleship back over there that I could be shooting at, but you know, I kind of want a kill. I kind of want another kill. And that Kutuzov is extremely low health. Extremely low health. He's got about 100 health left. I only have to hit him once. Our Donskovoy gets taken out, and I'm going to close in on this smoke. I do have torpedoes. I could torpedo the smoke, but I don't think it's worth wasting my shots for something so low health. And there's torpedo alert indicators, and this is when I realized I fucked up. Damn it. Misjudged that turn, zigged when I should have zagged, and ate a torpedo right on the bow. That Kutuzov, extremely lucky considering how low HP he was. If I could have only taken him out with 1 high explosive shell, detected it too late to do anything. Word of the wise, if you're closing in on a smoke screen, you should always pay attention to the smoke screen. You should always pay attention to that smoke screen, because odds are whatever's in there has probably got torpedoes, and they've probably fired them at not necessarily you, but somebody next to you. Oh well. Game is a victory, high caliber, and Liquidator with 150,000 damage. Even though I died, I'm going to consider this a good game. Victory for my team, post-battle results, 10,000 experience, 582,000 credits earned, 156,000 XP, or damage done in that matchup. Excellent, excellent game for me. Top of the team for base experience earned, well above 2,000 points. Anyway, that's it for today's video. If you liked the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment down below if you feel so inclined. If you'd like semi-regular channel news and updates, you can do so by following me on Facebook. If you'd like to help support me and my channel, please do so by visiting my Patreon. And if you'd like to submit a replay for display on my channel or to be used in a compilation video, please do so by emailing it to me in the email in the description below. Of course, you can find all the links for those said items in the description below as well. And as always, I'll see you next time. This is Captain Rye, signing off.